Chow you want to record? Sure. Just hang on. Right. Good morning. Who else wish to record? There are two people recording. I think should be good enough. Right. We'll get started. Now, let's see who hasn't submitted your tutorial. Wei Xiang. Wei Xiang, you have not submit your tutorial 2.3. Chai Ming Gang, you did not submit 2.2 and 2.3. Ngô Hui Ting, you did not submit tutorial 2.2. Freddie Lim. Freddie Lim, you did not submit 2.2 and 2.3. Why? Tai Yu Pin, you did not submit anything at all. Tai Yu Pin, you did not submit anything at all. Why? Tai Yu Pin, you did not submit anything at all. Why? Tai Yu Pin, you hear me? Ngô Huy Ting? Hello, you hear me? It's too late. You must submit before the tutorial. I've given you more than enough time. Tai Yu Pin, can you respond? You have not submit even a single tutorial. Tai Yu Pin? Tai Yu Pin, can you respond? Tai Yu Pin, can you hear me? See, you're wasting everybody's time, when I'm trying to reprimand you, you're wasting everybody's time here. Now your tutorial exercises are one of the most important because your class test and final exam, you will depend on your ability to answer the questions, the cases. Right. Now, when you submit, right, please label your file as a name, tutorial, right? Name, tutorial 2.2, and then EIF, with the space in between, tutorial number, then the space. Try to label your file like that. Right. I've seen some of your answers. Most of your answers are not satisfactory. Tai Yupin, you've just entered, right? Tai Yupin, can you hear me, Tai Yupin? Or Yupin Tai? Tai Yupin, you just entered, right? Tai Yupin, can you respond? Tai Yupin, can you respond? Tai Yupin, can you respond, please? Tai Yupin, can you respond? Very well. If you fail, don't blame me. Right, now, those who submitted, right, I think most of your answers are not satisfactory. All the answers are no good. So please pay attention as to how to approach the case. Right, please pay attention. Otherwise, I think most of you will fail this subject. I think relatively speaking, compared to the other classes, this class is not that good. All right, I mean, judging from your tutorial answers, right, your standard is not that good. Now let me answer Tai Yupin first. Right. I'm not answering Tai Yupin privately on WhatsApp. You see, he's wasting everybody's time. Right. Right. Now the uh right. Now when you right, I'm just phrasing the tutorial questions very broadly as I just discussed. Okay, but you all know that this case is related to standard 2A, material non-public information. All right, I could have phrased the question in another way, but I phrase it generally, right? So I could have phrased a question such as, pursuant to standard 2A, uh, you know, explain whether Gordon's actions are appropriate. All right, okay, whether they are appropriate, whether they are in violation of 2A. Right. So a very good way to start your answer is just by stating what standard 2A is about. You get some marks on it, right? Standard 2A, blah, 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 prohibits anyone from acting on the material non-public information, right? Something like that. Okay. Right. And then you start to talk about the actions taken. Okay. So what were the pertinent actions taken? So what were the actions taken? Basically, right? It's basically Gordon, right? Right. Now there are two issues here, right? In here. First is the preliminary test results, right? This issue here, right? Which are actually favorable. Okay, so this is one issue here. The other issue here, right, is about the meeting. Right, this meeting here. Okay, this meeting here and this preliminary test data. Right, actually, Gordon, well, in the case, right, Gordon didn't share this preliminary test data, right? But he just shared the favorable meeting, right, with with the analyst. Okay, so that's a key issue here. Right, he did share with this research analyst that the meeting with the regulators was very positive and productive. This part here, right? So this issue here, this meeting, right, is considered material, right? Is material information, and at the time it was non-public. So two issues here regarding this meeting, right? This meeting here, right? The information which was communicated was material, and at the time it was still non-public, right? So you all should point this out, right? You all should point this out, right? And you should say that Gordon only share it with this research analyst and not the general investing public. Okay. So basically, Gordon here, right? He should have issued a public announcement. Okay. So you all must point this out. Is that clear? Right. First point, right? you should just state what the standard is, right? This is from your notes, right? And then basically this is the gist of the standard, right? Information is material, blah, 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 right? And information is non-public, right? So these 2 points about standard 2A, you start off with this first. This is what the standard require, right? So this would set the stage for your discussion. Are you with me? Right, then we talk about what happened, right? The actions, right? So Gordon did not share, right, the positive preliminary results for the drug, right? Although he did not share, right, he did share the fact that the meeting with the regulators was very positive and productive, right? He shared this, right? The meeting was very productive, positive and productive, right? So this fact about the meeting, which was very productive and positive, right, is considered material, right? And which at that material time, what I'm saying here, material here means at the relevant time, it was still non-public, right? So this material, non-public information, would have an impact on the price of the security, which everybody wants to know. Okay, so this is what happened. And basically the action and implication are in the same sentence. Right? Okay, so basically, we further analyze what he did. He only shared this material non-public information with only a select group of research analysts and not the general public. Okay, so this is in clear violation of 2A. Then as a side note, right, whether he was only responding to questions and not actively conveying this material non-public information, right, is irrelevant. Okay, so basically, whether responding to questions or not, or whether he's trying to let people know is not important, but the fact is that he has already conveyed this material non-public information. This is the key issue. Okay, right, and then Gordon and or Medicure should have issued a public announcement, right? So this is what they should have done, right? A public announcement about this meeting, must be before or at the same time, right? So I conclude, right? Therefore, his actions are inappropriate, right? This is how basically you should structure your answer. Okay, you start off with basically stating what the standard wants, right? And then you describe the actions and implication. And then what he should have done, basically this is summarizing. So that means you start beautifully, then the flow, then you end beautifully. That's it. None of you have actually done this, right? I've already shown you how to do it, the previous lectures, but you all still failed to do it. I don't know why. So basically this is the structure. I know every case is different. Definitely every case is different because in life, every case we deal with in the future is different. So you have to learn how to deal with different cases. This is the training. All right. Okay, so basically this is the answer. Now, who wants the answers to be reviewed? Who want the answers to be reviewed? I've looked at some of your answers, already looked at some of your answers. Right, who wants to have a look at the answers? Agnes, you want your answers to be reviewed? Okay. Right. This is your answer, right? Gordon's action was determined to be appropriate. Wow. So straight away you have the conclusion, right? As I've said, do what I did, right? Start over with the standard. All right, you already concluded before you even started. Don't do this, right? Gordon's action was determined to be appropriate. This sentence should be at the end, even though your conclusion is wrong, right? And then you say that's because he protected material now. Well, you haven't even analyzed the case. You must point out, which part was the material and when was it non-public, and he didn't disclose it in the meeting. It. Now, what specifically, what or which material non-public information? So this is very ambiguous. He didn't disclose it. Are you sure? Are you sure? You mean the results of the preliminary test data? He didn't disclose it. Are you sure? All right. So in addition, Gordon didn't share. Yeah, this part. Yeah, he didn't share. Right, he didn't share. Yeah, he didn't. Yeah, you got this partly correct. But we are talking about the key issue here is about the meeting with the regulators. Right? He shared it with this research analyst. That is a part. So that means he did violate. All right. So your answer is wrong. All right. So that means your analysis is not incisive enough. All right. You didn't look at it very carefully. All right. Who else want the answers to be looked at? Lo Huishen, sure. Right. Gordon Gordon was informed of the favorable preliminary test data. All right, so this part, okay. He did not tell, yeah. When he replied by emails, his content is just tactfully express current situation. So this is very ambiguous here. What current situation? All right. So it may be considered that the information here is wrong. Very ambiguous. I don't know what you're saying here. Information here is wrong. What is wrong? So it's a very ambiguous answer. Do you realize your shortcomings, Lo Hui Shen? About the data. What do you mean by about the data, Lo Hui Shen? What do you mean by about the data? Yeah, I mean, this part is okay. He did not tell the analyst about the favorable preliminary test data. This is okay. But on this basis alone, you cannot say he did not violate because, as I've said, the results of the preliminary meeting, with the regulators, right? He shared it with the analysts, right? So this favorable meeting, okay, is considered material, and it was non-public at that relevant time. So that on that issue alone, he did violate. Yeah, I mean, this part is okay, as I said, right? Yeah, he did not tell the analyst about the favorable test data. Yeah, I mean, okay. So, but he still violated because of that meeting. All right. Anyway, your answer is very brief. All right, very brief. Anybody else? Who else want their answers to be looked at? Quick. Or I'll just pick any random. This is Lee Junhao, right? I'll just pick one more. Right, Lee Junhao. You write like that, one look at it, I know you will fail. Right, straight away, appropriate. Okay, like that, I mean, you just point out like that. Didn't share. Yeah, you didn't share, but always talk about the meeting. So remember the meeting, right? The meeting, right? I mean, there's hardly any substance in your answer. Right, as I said, start off with just stating the essence of the standard, right? Stating the essence of the standard to set the stage for your discussion. All right, first part. Second part, just talk about what he actually did. So you have to analyze a little bit deeper. So I think all of you missed out on this part. Meeting with the regulars was very productive and positive, right? So this meeting, very positive, productive, right? This is material information, and it's still non-public at the material time, right? Okay, so we determine the materiality and the fact that it is non-public. We first determine it first. So what he did and the implication, and then right, further he only shared with only a select group, right, and not the general investing public, right? So I add on this, right, whether he respond or try actively conveying is immaterial, right? So basically then is to say, you know, he should have issued a public announcement as opposed to only this meeting, right? As opposed to only this meeting, right? Issue a public announcement prior to or simultaneously. This is important. Okay. So that, all right. So that's why it's inappropriate. Right. You all should try to write like that, you know, at least some substance. So you all don't put in enough effort. Right. Now I talk about case 2. There's something wrong. Right. Case 2. Again, you should start off with talking about the standard, right? So, right. So basically, Henry and Peter, right? They both received this confidential information. All right. Because it was given to them by the placement agents, right? So, right. So now Henry directed Peter to make the short sales. All right. Henry directed Peter to make the short sales. Right. So here I'm just talking about Peter's action. You know, we are just talking about Peter, but also Henry is also guilty. Right. So to make the short sales. So with the last statement, right? The last statements say that they earn so much, you know, whatever figure. If they earn so much, you know, by using all this, right, whatever they did, right? So that means they acted on the information. All right. So basically, you have to state that they received this material non-public information. Okay. All right. They received this material non-public information during this placement process, right? During this private placement process. All right. So just because now we are talking about Peter, right? Just because Henry directed Peter to do certain things doesn't mean that Peter shouldn't abide by the standard 2A, right? You should point it out, right? So Peter should basically, Peter knew that this is material non-public information, and he should have refused the directive from Henry to trade, right? And he should have actually told Henry that this action, right, this action here is actually illegal, right? So, however, right, the short sales were made because TAP earned 16.2 million. So that means action was taken, right? And that means this trade, right, this trade was based on material non-public information, right? So that means the trade is improper, right? And so Peter's actions are not appropriate. Okay, so basically this is how you should structure your answer. All right, so who wants the answers to be looked at first? Maybe Wong Gok Jin. Wong Gok Jin, you there?
Yes.
There's nothing in case one. Right, this is Wong Gok Jin's answer. Yeah, okay, this point, non-public information. Yeah, before Peter received, he already made short sale. Huh? Are you sure?
I thought
Before
in
are
the
you
day
sure this is wrong?
period to, yeah,
Before
I
Peter
see
received the
it.
information, you already made short sales? This is very strange. Therefore, Pete, oh my God. I don't know where you got this information from, this part here. Where do you get this from? Wong Gok Jin, where do you get this from?
In the day period to the private place, Henry